Let's talk about something that's extremely important and almost nobody knows about. A. Listening. There is no such thing as breath meditation in Scripture and doctrine. No such thing. It is a metaphysical symbolism for the Atman, the Spiritus Sancta. Atman, or the Pali Atan, root an, breath, atmos, atme, primary spiritus, or luminous. It is pneumatic principle, such often equated with the gale. Veo vata, root va, meaning to blow. The spirit, that which, quote, bloweth as it listeth. The same term in English, okay, is also in the ancient Sanskrit and the Pali. Atmo, atmosphere, atmospheric, meaning air, winds. Okay, Atman, literally air, breath. Not literal breath, but the animus, the spiritus sancta. In other words, you stop breathing, you die. It is nothing, there's no such thing. I cannot get this through to you, how important this is. There is no such thing as a teaching about breath meditation in doctrine. No such thing. It is a metaphysical symbolism for focusing on the animus. The metaphor of the breath regards the animus, the soul, is literally not the air passing in and out of your lungs. If that were the case, you might as well focus on focus on the gas that is passing out of your fanny as to do breath meditation. Obviously, that is laughable. Well, it's equally laughable the thought of focusing, concentrating on, quote unquote, meditating upon the breath in your lungs. Is that calming? Yes, of course it calms you. But if you want to be calm, you go have somebody drive a spike through your eyeball and get a frontal lobotomy, or go take some Xanax or some Valium. You want to sit there and be calm and drool on yourself, that's perfectly fine. Breath meditation calms people down. They say, well, when I do breath meditation, it really calms me, and it works for a week, and then I do some more. So, Buddhism did teach breath meditation. Well, no, it did not. You're doing something that is calming physically to your existential person, but it has nothing to do with liberation whatsoever, and there is no such thing, period, in Buddhist doctrine as regards breath meditation. Irivataka 81. Anupanasatya jatam perimukham supatitya. He through breath recollection meaning smriti, is thoroughly antecedent as well established in the Supreme Soul. Ajatam perimukham supatitya. Anupanasatya, always translated as quote unquote breath meditation. Okay, here's referring to the animus. The animus, i.e., the Atman, has to do with anupanasatya, breath recollection. You cannot translate that literally as recollection as in memory, talking about metaphysical recollection. What is animating this body, i.e., the quote-unquote hidden breath of life of the Brihad 10.6.3, has nothing to do with the air in your lungs. Irivataka, by breath, apanna, the Tathagata is referring to the chitta, the nous, the spirit, the mind, that is giving life to this mass. Remember, khanda or aggregate means mass, lump, heap of filth, by the way, of course, in any translation of the Dhammapada regarding this body, this psychophysical self. Okay. Breath meditation does calm people. There is no such thing as breath meditation in Scripture, nor would it logically lead to liberation. Would it lead to panna vimutta, liberation via wisdom? Would it lead to citta vimutta? People talk about it and they rave about it, and yes, it is calming, like taking a Xanax or a Valium is calming. There are a lot of things that can calm you, okay? But this has nothing to do with the liberation ontology, the metaphysics that Gautama taught, which is found in the Upanishads, which any variety of metaphysical monism teaches. There is no such thing as breath meditation. This is a metaphysical symbolism for the animus. Remember, Atman as meant air is the same term we have in English. The ancient Sanskrit and Pali is the same as our English term, Atma, atmospheric, air. Okay, very, very simple. Breath meditation has nothing to do with what is taught in doctrine. You need to completely forget the whole breath meditation nonsense, okay? Like I said, you might as well focus on the air that is passing out of your fanny when you pass gas as to focus on the breath passing out of your lungs. We're literally talking about the animating spirit that gives life, talking about recollection, or smriti, anamnesis, of the animus, that which is animating this persona, this psychophysical form, okay? It is the drawing back back and back and back and further until it becomes self-established, self-reflexive. Okay, that is what anapanasati refers to. It doesn't literally translate it as breath meditation, but remember, breath literally means animus, Atman, air, wind, but the animating spirit. This is metaphysical symbolism. Once again, this is so important. I can't emphasize it enough. Please understand it. There is no such thing as breath meditation in Buddhism. I don't care what you've read. You've never read any such nonsense in doctrine. It does not exist in any Buddhist passage in the five Nikaya. Digha, Majjhima, Samyutta, and Gotara, the Kudaka. There is no such passage as breath meditation. Okay, let's talk about a couple other things in a few other videos. I'll give you a little primer. There is no such thing, by the way, as a middle path in Buddhism. Majjhima literally refers to the opposite of all antinomies. Majjhima Patipadaya, often referred to as the middle path, actually in Gautama's time referred to one thing only. When you looked at the night sky, of course we don't see it anymore because of our light pollution, you see the long white streak right through the middle of the night sky of the Milky Way galaxy. That is the Majjhima Patipadaya. Pada actually not only means path, specifically in the ancient it actually meant light as well, and that was the ancient definition of a path of light in the skies. The Milky Way galaxy is the opposite of all antinomies. The opposite of all antinomies, like birth, old age, sickness, and death, life, birth, happiness, sadness. The antinomy of that is Brahma Bhut, become Brahman. Majjhima does not mean, okay, Buddhism teaches the middle path, which means, well, that means Buddhism is you don't eat too much, you don't eat too little, you just eat the right thing. You don't have too much sex or too little sex, you just have the right amount. It means none of that stuff. Majjhima Patipadaya literally means the opposite of all antinomies. In other words, to draw back the animus or the spirit from all antinomies which have to do with psychophysical or empirical existence. Another little point we'll talk about in a future video is there's no such thing as a triple wheel. Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, okay, is literally mind, okay, buddhi, matter or prakriti, dhamma, and their harmonic unity. Okay, the Christian Trinity is taken from the ancient Vedic, which Buddhism got it from as well. Okay, this is the ancient Trinity. This is exactly the same in Platonism and all varieties of monism. The quote-unquote Trinity, okay, would be the spirit or the mind, right, the buddhi, the matter, hyle, or dhamma, i.e. prakriti, and their union, the harmonic union of the two, the sangha. There's no quote-unquote triple wheel. I mean, these are one of many thousands of things that people take for granted in original Buddhism, but which are not present in the actual teachings themselves. Once again, let's get back on to what Buddhism does say about the Atma, Anupannasattaya. There's no such thing. Please understand this and study it. Don't take my word for it. There's no such thing as breath meditation. Understand that this is both logical, it is doctrinal, it is sensible, it is simplex. And if you don't understand there's no such thing as breath meditation, then please just hang your coat up and go take a pack of Valium or go get a lobotomy and drool on yourself, and you'll be happy for the rest of whatever is left of this life, okay? People talk about breath meditation and how it helps them in daily life. Well, Buddhism is not a coping tool, quote unquote. I keep hearing that. Buddhism helps me cope with life. Well, it's not about coping with suffering. It's about transcending suffering. Nissarana, complete transcendence. If you want to cope with life, go get rich and take some Valium, okay? That'll help you cope with life. Buddhism is not about coping with the suffering of this life. It is about escaping all antinomies. The antinomy, not only the bad stuff, but the good stuff as well, because both of these are antinomy. The good stuff and the bad stuff are both antinomies of samsara. All translations in the Pali on this are in complete agreement. Escaping not only the bad, but also the good, because with the good comes the bad, as the old saying goes. And all of these are part and parcel to samsara, samsarati. Samsara literally means to go round and round. And part of a wheel is not only the bad part at the very bottom, it is also the good part. In Buddhism, in all Pali translations, escaping the bad stuff is equally desirable as escaping the good stuff. Okay, you need to grasp that and let that soak in. Escaping all antinomies, both the good and the bad. That is the Majjhima. That is not a middle path in Buddhism. It is literally the opposite of all antinomies, is the locus of the focus. Majjhima Patipadaya. There's no quote-unquote middle path as meant, we'll do half of what's good or half of what's bad, do something in between. No. It is about doing what is conducive to the opposite of all antinomies. That would be Brahma Bhu, become Brahman. Complete and total liberation of the citta, citta vimutta. Understand this and understand it well. If you don't grasp it, then maybe you need to raise your intellect a little bit or go learn something about metaphysics and philosophy and understand the logic and the simplicity of escaping antinomies, and especially the fact that breath meditation is illogical, it is absurd, it is not doctrinal, and is complete absurd nonsense. This is metaphysical symbolism as regards to the animus, the spiritus sanctum, and the same term is in the English, Atman, Atmo, meaning breath, meaning air, as in atmosphere or atmospheric. Thank you.